Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Legends of Runeterra, the weekly Poro report. As always, I am Smithel, along with my co-host Cozer, and we have an awesome guest. You guys have been already spamming him with emotes in chat, for his love of anime. But we have Sudrakon on the show this week, so Sudrakon, thanks for coming by.
Oh, I have to thank you for the invite.
No, it's a pleasure. I mean, I know that you have a lot of followers, a lot of people that love you, so it's great to get you on here, and on a patch week, nonetheless, it's always fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pleasure for all of us.
Well, thanks. So let's maybe start with this. So, who are you? Where are you from? And a little bit of background on you and the community.
I'm from Brazil. My background's like mostly. I mean, I didn't play any competitive games. I didn't play any games competitively, but I've played a lot of Hearthstone in the past since like 2014 until like probably to 2017, and then I would like play a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
I've also played like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, but like just when I was a kid for fun in school.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, nothing serious. So yeah, I mean, I was like mostly a viewer. Like I actually watched a lot of streams and players and like tournaments. So on a lore, I decided to try to compete, and here I am, I guess.
That's awesome. So where are you currently ranked? Are you have you hit that Masters threshold yet?
Yeah, I hit Masters probably a week ago, maybe a little bit more, but I haven't played like much since then. I've mostly played like play testing with people and like other games because, to be completely honest, I'm not having the most fun with the game right now. So I'm mostly like preparing for tournaments and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that seems to be a common message between folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, and people are saying that they want you to talk about your love of deep.
No, this is Trival's meme. Like he loves deep. We meme that like he's the deep guy. He has the best deep deck. I don't like the deck very much.
Deep is very much a love-or-hate kind of relationship.
Yeah.
But so that's awesome. So I mean, I know you say that you're kind of just in the tournament prep stage. I mean, so I take it that you're, looking at maybe, bringing some fun decks or interesting decks in tournaments. Like what decks right now are you typically playing if you don't like deep? What's going into your mind state whenever entering these tournaments?
It's kind of hard. Depends on the format of the tournament. If I have a ban, which most tournaments do, then I can play more like weird decks. Like I still kind of like a Zed Lucian deck that I have been bringing to tournaments like for almost 2 months, probably like more than a month. I don't like a deck like I have to start like learning. I'm not good with the deck, but like Ezreal Karma is definitely a deck that has to be in everyone's mind for tournaments. Like everyone's playing either Ezreal Karma or Heimervai.
Not if there's a ban though. Like I feel like if there's a ban, it's not as much of a problem. But the past couple of weekends, the actual like Sudrakon didn't mention it, but the past couple of tournaments that have been going on, there actually hasn't been a lot of bans, unless it was the Brazilian tournaments. A lot of the weekend tournaments have not had bans. They've been completely removed. Jamfest, Giant Slayer, all those do not have bans. So it's kind of like a different meta for those tournaments. But I know the Brazilian ones were still doing them. Like I think the Thursday, I know there's like Wednesday tournaments. I'm pretty sure you guys hold a tournament every day, but like Monday and Tuesday. Like at least I know Harry and them are doing a lot of them. So but I think those had a ban in them, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I think generally the Brazilian tournaments do have bans. Yeah.
Now, do you think the ban format's better, or do you like kind of the way that other tournaments is taking it with no bans? Which one do you think is the best play style?
I like I prefer bans, but the thing is, like, I think for smaller tournaments, it's kind of refreshing. Just like, oh, I know my opponent. Like, I just add them in the game, and we just play. We don't have to take much time, like, outside of the gameplay itself, to like make the bans and think about that. So, like, I prefer like competitively bans, but I think no bans for smaller tournaments is actually like very interesting. Like, it's refreshing. I think like it even may attract more people who are not used to bans, or like don't have like many cards to make many decks. But like from a competitive standpoint, definitely bans are needed. I think, at least right now.
Until Ionia is fixed, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, until they figure out something to do with Will. That's for sure. But yeah. So one of the things Sudrakon we like to do, and obviously you've seen the show, but we like to typically start off with a week in review. Kind of, what have you been up to this week? What are you playing? What's going on? So I mean, as the guest, what have you been playing? Has it been all tournament prep, or have you dove into gauntlets? Have you been doing the ARAM labs, all that stuff?
Dominion.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, like, I've not been playing much lore outside of like tournament prep. So I've played like what was it last week? Not the lab. Like
the gauntlet, the singleton.
Yeah, the gauntlet. Yeah, I've played like a little bit of that, but I didn't like it that much. The lab, though, I think it's very fun. I've played a couple games.
I agree.
And then outside of that, like, I've only been playing like tournament prep with people, and then outside of that, like, just other games. I guess I've not been playing much ladder at all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a similar boat. I mean, I've taken a step out of ladder right now, but it's only because I do find the other modes very fun. Like singleton, I had a blast with. Just because when you get people outside of this ladder net deck, it's funny to see just how many people can't play. You know what I mean? Like if it's anything different, like this ARAM labs, like I mean, I think the lab is very fun. This whole here's 4 champions, pick who you want, they start in your hand, and then you don't know what's coming and learn to play around it is interesting to me. I've been playing a ton of it today and yesterday.
Imagine a tournament like that, full tournament, just labs. Be a good time, wouldn't it?
God, can you imagine? Labs in a tournament? But
I mean, we still have some days to go, so maybe someone does that.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to watching a tournament with it just being an ARAM deck. Blind picking a deck based on a name or something like that. But yeah, so I've been doing that. So I'm still in plat on ladder just because of that. And we'll talk a little bit more about labs and things like that when we get into the news. But I'll kind of tone back and kind of pass the floor to Cozer for his news, because I know his is the big news of the week.
Well, no. Now I'm gonna keep everyone in suspense. To be honest, I'm gonna wait till the end. My week's been busy. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Team IQ and working a lot with the staff, the team, stuff like that. Like, I know we finally have a GFX guy, so we're gonna have a full-fledged logo in the next little while. So that's gonna be a good time. Been talking to the players about content creation, because that's what I'm there for. It's been different. I played a little bit of LOR this week. I think I played Gauntlet. No, that was 2 weekends ago. So I didn't get to play Singleton. I'm kind of sad. I wanted to play it. I just didn't make the time for it. I actually didn't play much games. Honestly, I thought I was going to play Valorant a bunch this week, but I kind of just been chilling out, watching a bunch of anime and just relaxing, following that weeb life.
Hey, dude, I get the weeb life, and I get kind of taking a break. I've been doing a lot of a lot of D&D prep.
I know you're getting into that. I'm gonna make fun of you a lot, so don't worry about it. Like, I'll still be making fun of you every week. But yeah, no. Hopefully it's fun.
I'll be streaming on Saturday. You can make fun of me live.
Oh wait, you're actually gonna be streaming it? How did your first week go? I don't want to talk about it too much.
First week's this week. We just been doing character development part.
Okay, but that's
also
cool.
Chat wants to know what animes you like, because apparently they didn't know you were an anime fan. You're in good company here, Sudrakon.
My favorite anime, that one of the first ones I really, well, obviously like the original, the OGs, Pokemon, but yeah, I know I'm lame for that, but the main one that I kind of went away from like Pokemon and Digimon was Seven Deadly Sins. It's one of my favorite series. I just really struggled to watch it in not like English dub because Meliodas sounds like a little bitch. and also I heard the last season was really bad. The graphics, they changed up the artist and it's not that great anymore. So I really like Seven Deadly Sins, Hunter x Hunter, but the problem with that series is you can only watch it for so long until the writer decides to just stop writing, and then it's frustrating because you want to know what's on the rest of it. I watched the whole Naruto series from start to finish. I just finished a little while ago. Now I'm into Boruto. I actually was surprised because I heard a lot of bad reviews on Boruto, and I don't mind it because it's all of the young kids, and now they're adults, and then them having kids. So it's kind of like a cool aspect. I like this story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching it. Only problem is, again, I started watching it in English, and then at some point I will have to watch Japanese. I'll have to watch.
You gotta watch it the right way soon.
No, that's not the right way. I don't like to watch series in sub if I start it watching it in English. It's just weird to me because everyone's voice changes. And I don't like that. I don't want to listen to that. It's super weird. But and then after that, I'll probably go into Dragon Ball because I never watched that as a kid. But I know the series is supposed to be really good, and I want to get into that. But there's a ton of other animes I'll be watching. I've been a weeb since I got older, but I always watched Pokemon and Digimon when I was younger.
Yeah, no, that's a good start, and it's funny because Chad's not like, oh shit, we just derailed the podcast.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we all could talk anime forever, which is funny.
Oh yeah, I can. Like, it's just like literally just my favorite topic to like anime.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. You don't go into my list. What's your top 3 animes? And then we'll get off the anime topic.
Okay, dude. Top 3. I mean, my top 2 is easy. Like no particular order. Is like Steins Gate, and then the whole Monogatari series. It like there's a lot of seasons. My favorite's like second season, but like as a series, I put it on my top 2. And then the third one is probably like the third season of Haikyuu, which is a volleyball anime. It's
I saw that. Is there reasons why you watched that? Do we want to? Because isn't there a lot of girls that wear very skimpy tops in that one? Is that the one that I'm thinking about? Okay, so it's not one of those animes?
No, I don't think so. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. It's actually not. It's just like incredible. I don't know.
I seen that one on Netflix. I might have to get into it and watch it. There's a couple of series that I want to watch, like Death Note and stuff, just because they're like small series. Like they're not insanely big. I did want to get into One Piece. It's just my biggest issue with animes is I like them when they're over. Like Naruto, I watch from start to finish, and then it's done. It's done. There is no more Naruto. I watched all 500 episodes, and the first season was like 300. It's done.
Anything 400 episodes in, I'm just like, I can't start this, man. I don't know.
Exactly.
400 episodes anymore.
It took me.
I gotta start 50 or less.
It took me 9 months to watch the whole Naruto series. I think I started it sometime in like November or September, something like that. Because my friend made fun of me. He's like, "Dude, you've been watching Naruto like forever." Because I used to watch it when it was on Netflix. I could download it onto my phone and I'd watch it at work when customers weren't watching me. But don't tell anyone. Hopefully my work doesn't watch the podcast.
It's fine.
No, sorry.
No, go.
No, I just wanted to say, like, I'm definitely with you. Like, I like to watch things when they are over, and like that's why I usually don't watch like very long series. Like it's usually like 12 to 24 episodes. So like I never really watched any of like Naruto. I mean I watched a little bit of Naruto. I've never watched like Bleach, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, just because I like they're too long for me and they never finish.
Hunter x Hunter is actually okay. Seven Deadly Sins is pretty short too. Those are all series that it's like.
Did you ever watch a Kami? I think it's a Kami Ga Kill or something like that. Yeah, that's a short one that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, that's a short one. Yeah, I've watched that.
Hey, no. You guys are. This is not only an English cast. If we have a Portuguese player on, you guys are welcome to talk Portuguese.
Dude.
If Sudrakon has anything in there that is an actual legit question and not trolling, he'll answer it on stream. We've told him, and he might even speak in Portuguese if he needs to explain something too.
Go for it, man. That's what we're here for. But anyway, off of anime and kind of getting back onto the subject here. So Legends of Runeterra. So it was a patch week. It's kind
Let
of
me
a
get the
small
patch
one.
notes. They're not up, so keep talking about them.
So yeah, they basically said it was going to be a small one. Obviously 1.5 wasn't supposed to be focused on any major cards. But they did make an announcement that they were going to be fixing a couple. So we'll go through those too. But let's run through the patch notes whenever Cozer gets them up. They basically started on and saying that, hey, look, they understand that some things need to be fixed. And, they were talking about the watch lists. And they basically brought on 3 things that, are currently being worked on. And all of them are interesting to me. So the first one, which I think is relatively straightforward, is they're adjusting some of Heimerdinger's bots. So I don't know what that means, whether or not they're going to be bringing down power, if they're going to be swapping what comes out on what mana spells or what. But I think we can all agree that Heimer definitely needed touched up.
What? No, he's fine.
At least get the elusive off 3 to
Yes.
start. At least get the elusive off 3.
Yeah, definitely.
Make that 5
It
or
was
something.
an emergency patch. It was an emergency to get labs and 2 of the slight nerfs that we got.
Yeah, so they did. Now the next 2 in Sudrakon, let me know your thoughts on these 2, because I'm wondering how they do this or what they're doing. So when they say reworking discard units to increase their satisfaction and usability, like, how do you increase rummage usability? It's already a burst spell for 1 mana, and it's discarding things. I mean,
maybe the fact that it's broken with karma, that's probably what the thought process is. Maybe some interactions with karma. That would be really nice because it kind of fucking breaks the game with karma.
But they're saying increased satisfaction. I mean, karma players are perfectly happy with the double.
Oh, maybe it's that bot with the challenger thing. Maybe they're gonna make him
16, maybe something like that.
16-3
because
overwhelm.
It's it's units, right? Like that they said. So maybe it's just
maybe like Scrap Scuttle or something.
Yeah, maybe that Flame Chompers or the cards that either discard or are discarded Flame Chompers. Maybe they will make that better. I don't know. This card has been not great for some time now.
Hey man, the bots, the AIs in the game, they love that card. It is in every Piltover deck in the game. In the AI bots, they love that little challenger bot, and any other card that's discardable, they love that shit.
It's true. That's true. But yeah, so I'm wondering how they tune that up. And then the other thing is too the adjustments to direct Nexus damage on cheap Noxus units. So I mean,
wonder what that could be. The demolition duo. I'd rather the waifu chicks. Waifu.
Yeah.
Waifu. They need to be chilled out a little bit. They do way too much damage as a combo. 4 damage. Usually can't stop it by turn 4, without playing Piltover, for the most part, or having a grasp. It's I don't know.
I mean, in chat's asking, do you think Grenadier is included? I mean, I don't know. I don't have a problem with him.
Yeah, he has one health.
His 1 health his purpose is to die for the 2 health.
Just hit him with the Vile Feast. He almost gets nullified to 1 damage. So let's play more Shadow Isles.
I kind of got I'm kind of sad that they will probably change Disciple. Not because she doesn't need to be changed, just because before way before the expansion hit, I used to play Vlad decks. When everyone thought Vlad was meme, and he still kind of is, but I don't know, Disciple is clearly meant for that kind of self-damage deck, but then with Grenadier and Transfusion, you just do so much damage that every aggro deck just uses that combo, and now they have to change it because it's too strong. So yeah, it's kind of sad for me, honestly, but I think it literally needs to be changed.
I mean, I'd be okay if they just moved Crimson Disciple as a 2/2 instead of a 2/3. Let her proc once.
That could make it better. Like my other thing too is like I'm just waiting for Reddit. Like after everything is like I'm just surprised I haven't seen anything on Reddit of nerf transfusion. It's too strong of a card or something crazy like that. It's like, dude, that's not the issue. But yeah, like making it 2/2. What about just making one cost a little bit more? That also might be a thing too. Demolitionist. It's a 2/3. Make it 3 mana, but is it unplayable at that point then? Because then the deck's not as aggro. I don't know. It's a hot take. I don't really know exactly how to fix it because you bring the health down. You're right; it only gets to hit for 1, but does that completely destroy the card though? Because that's another thing you have to think about too.
If
we don't want them to destroy the card,
I think if you bring a mana up, you can't bring mana up on both. I mean, you're if you bring up the Disciple, you can't bring up the proc. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do and how they do. Maybe they just bring it down so instead of it being 2 damage, it's 1 damage on both cards. But that way, if you get the combo off, you're only getting 2 direct. That doesn't feel so bad. 2 mana, 2/3 with good effect seems balanced. It's the same as Hired Gun. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually think Demolition is like the lesser of the problem between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%. It's not Demolitionist. It has to be Disciple.
Like every time like you have to transfusion some of your cards, like, and you don't have just Disciple, or when you Demolition it's something that's not Disciple, it does not feel broken or anything.
No, it feels okay.
So it's like it's Disciple. I'm not sure about like maybe 3 mana, maybe 2/2. Something small like that could work.
Yeah, I'd be okay. So I mean, my question becomes is if they're planning it for 1.6, will we see all this? Or is it something that it's like, hey, look, we're planning it, but maybe it's not going to hit. So I'm hoping we see it all, and I'm hoping that they don't completely break Noxus because I like the region. I used to hate it, but it's kind of fun to play.
I remember Spider Aggro with it. It was really fun. It was a lot of fun.
Spider Aggro being dead.
You didn't like Spider Aggro? It wasn't even like the best deck at the time. It was just really fun to play. Like it was. I don't know. I liked it.
I mean, I like Spider Aggro because like it's just an aggro deck. Like I don't like burn. Like I don't like. I remember when Piltover Noxus Burn was popular. I lost a game like where my opponent did not hit my face, like just literally from burn, and I don't think that kind of like non-interactivity is like fun or very good for the game. So I think Spider Aggro was like one of the best decks because like you still have like you still can answer anything they play, right? Like the problem like the problem right now I think is like Noxus just has too much damage.
Yeah.
Without needing to rely like either like relying on units but like don't need to hit the Nexus or just other cards that literally just do damage.
Yeah, I mean to get the damage in, you're not putting enough risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There should be a lot more instances where if I do this, I'm setting up a bad board state or bad trades in the future. And right now, it feels like they don't care about that. And I get that's kind of the flavor of the region of just look, the stronger going to survive. You just pound through the damage, and if you don't survive, you're out. But I feel like there definitely has to be a little bit more risk reward to it than currently. So maybe you just knock down a little bit of health on the units or something. But yeah, so it's nice that they're being touched up for sure. But anyway, so next thing throughout the patch notes, obviously they go into labs, and we talked about this a little bit before. But Sudrakon, you said you enjoy the labs, right?
Yes, for sure.
Or at least the current lab, I guess, because we don't know what's coming. But yeah, what do you think about the length of time? So it lasting literally a whole patch.
I think it's okay. Like I should be honest, I'm not sure why the other modes, like I played Hearthstone and there was Tavern Brawl, like, and then there was I literally cannot remember the name in English. Last week.
The Tavern Brawl?
No. On Runeterra, like the single thing.
The Gauntlet, the singleton.
Yeah, Gauntlet. Like
Mhm,
I cannot
mhm.
remember Gauntlet. Like
Sorry, the
I
Hearthstone.
don't know why the last why like for such a small period of time. I think like
Mhm,
if it's fun, then like just let people play. I guess they
mhm.
don't want people. I don't know. I don't know. Like I like it lasting long. Basically, I don't know why do we have to like. Oh, you can only play this mode for like 4 days. So I kind of like that it's like for 2 weeks. Have
Yeah,
nothing against that.
yeah. I mean,
The same thing
I
though, won't people get bored of it? Like, what do you get for it?
nothing,
Another
Yeah,
title?
yeah.
Not
nothing.
even a title? Is it
Nothing, nothing.
XP? Extra
You get
XP?
you
Does
don't get
it
extra,
lock
but you do get
out?
XP.
Does it
Yeah,
lock out at
it's
some point? Like once you do it for the week,
Mm-mm.
or can he give
mm,
you
You just get normal XP like match.
yeah,
You know.
oh
just
like
normal
200
XP.
XP a win, and then
Yeah.
eventually 0 XP per loss? So,
Mm.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
do you think it would
I
be
mean,
better once there's more game modes, like more labs modes, to like cycle them in every so couple of days once there's like a lot of them?
yeah, I mean, well, that's the part that I find interesting because in the patch notes, they basically say, hey, look, they're using this as a chance to discover what's fun and what needs to be developed. So is this the way I kind of read that was like, hey, play test some more permanent modes that we're thinking about. You know, like, do you love ARAM? You know, if so, we're going to keep developing it. If it's kind of a flop, we're going to let it die off and focus our efforts somewhere else. That's how I took that sentence because if that's what they're intended for, I love it. You know, because
Does it feel like
that,
ARAM though, Smithel? Because I know you've played quite a bit of
Mhm.
ARAM. Does it feel like you're running it straight down mid the whole time? Does it give you that
it,
feeling?
it kind of does feel like the oh shit, how do I deal with what I was dealt? You know, there's lots of times I've had alliance cards in my deck, and it's just, well, I got to play this, but my Bannerman may not proc because I don't know what the hell I'm sitting on. You know, so I've been having a lot of fun with it, to be quite honest. I've probably played 15 matches of it today or
I just
so.
haven't tried it yet. I'm gonna have to try it out.
Damn.
It
Yeah.
sounds fun. Like from what you've explained, like I watched the video, I just haven't logged on since the most
Yeah.
recent update.
Yeah, I will say, you know, the best pickup is like you start with 3 mana every round, and so if you get the chance to get a Zed in hand and your attack first, it's great because you can just swing in and level up Zed on first turn because they may not have anything to block. You know, it feels real bad if you get Nautilus as a champ because I've never gone deep or had a reason to use him. But yeah, it's kind of a cool mode. I've been enjoying it a lot, and I mean, I I get people with the frustration with ladder and not wanting to play, but as far as Legends of Runeterra as a whole, I think the game is in a real solid place. I think expeditions are in a good spot. I think they've never been better. They keep tweaking those. The gauntlets, I get that they're. I don't feel like they're competitive like they were selling it, but it gives me something to look forward to, even if it is just for a weekend, to break up the ladder. You know, I'm only going against aggro or the bald eagle like Anivia deck. You know, it kind of gives you something to kind of play and mess around with. And now labs, it's like I don't want to be serious on ladder. I don't like the meta, so I'm going to let this one run out, and I'm just going to play some labs and expeditions or whatever the case may be. So, as a whole, I think the game's in a great spot, and I like that they're kind of putting this kind of stuff out there.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Like I think the game itself, like I personally am kind of a competitive person. When I am gonna play a game, I'm gonna play most of the time. I'm gonna play ladder or try to. I don't play tournaments in this game just because I didn't want to take this game that seriously. But I think the game with the modes that are being added are great. I think the game right now, the best way to do it is play tournaments. Labs are fun. Gauntlets are something to do on the weekend. And play test with friends, scrim, figure out new
um,
stuff like that. I don't know if you agree with that, Sudrakon.
oh yeah, I do. Like I was, yeah, like about the gauntlet. I guess like I think it's like we only experimented with like chill modes, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's really cool. Like one of the things like that I liked about gauntlets was that it's, as you said, right, like it just you can like deck building, right? Like it rewards people for deck building because you can just like net deck something and like just play it because I mean you can after a while, like after like the first day maybe. But I think like the variety of decks that were played on Gauntlet like is pretty cool. I think like I'm kind of excited for more for the next Gauntlets because, for example, I've played a tournament this week which was mono region. Like you had to bring 4 decks, and every deck could only have one region. And then I was like I initially thought the same 4 regions, the same 4 decks were going to be played throughout the tournament. But like people like brought some really interesting decks, and I think like something like that, or like with another set of rules, like on Gauntlet, seems just pretty fun and rewards building, right? Like because ladder, as you said, like you just net deck the best decks or whatever, and like you face the same decks every time. On Gauntlets, that's not the same, right? So like I think it's just fun because of that. And then
yeah. So I mean, I'm interested to see what they keep kind of putting out with, and how it ties into maybe what they're developing in the future. So let's talk a little bit about the card changes then that came with the patch notes, and these are 2 cards that I'm glad they put as an emergency kind of patch and definitely need reworked. So first one here, and I think everybody's going to be kind of thrilled with, is Pilfered Goods. It is going from 2 mana to 3 mana cost, which perfect, absolutely perfect. That card needed adjusting.
Okay, I have a hot take. I
Oh
think
god!
the card
Don't
was
say
fine.
that you hate it. Oh my god!
No, I think the card was fine. Like no. Like from the beginning, like I thought the two like the two things that's the 2 things that needed to change was like first the that you draw cards from the bottom, which they changed because like you couldn't play Freljord. Like you play Trapper, you have your Yeti stole, you buff your cards, they're stolen. Like that's bad. But then the other thing that I think it's way worse for the game, like in for balance and like frustration, that kind of stuff, is Black Market Merchant. Um, like the fact that it discounts every card that you steal from the opponent's deck. I think that's like it shouldn't be like that. Like the thing is, like I've played a lot of Bilgewater with uh, Bilgewater with Freljord, and like if I didn't have like on most of my games, right? If I have like some sort of spell that I want to play, and like I have Plunder, right? But I don't have Black Market Black Market
Black
Merchant.
Market Merchant. Yep.
Yeah, if I don't have that on the field and I have spells that I want to play, I would most of the times rather like just save spell mana than play Pilfered Goods, because I do not think 2 mana for 2 cards that are not synergistic with my deck is actually worth like the mana if you have like something that you want to save the spell mana for. So like I think like and I get that it's frustrating, but like I think the frustration is like, for me at least, is like my opponent playing my Riptide Rex on turn 7 because he stole it from a deck, or like powerful cards that are costed mm, uh, like that are discounted, right? I think that's the biggest problem with the plunder. Oh, not plunder, with stealing cards. I don't think like yeah, I don't know. I don't think like Pilfered Goods was a problem by itself. I think like it's okay if without any other like stealing cards, I think Pilfered Goods is like perfectly fine, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I don't like it at 2 mana is because if it's turn 2 and they just play Warning Shot, Black Market Merchant, and then Pilfered Goods, that just felt terrible. Is my cat scratching the hell out of my couch? It is. Oh god, I hate it. It's gonna drive me nuts. But we have a cover on it, but ignore it. But anyway, so it's one of those things that always felt bad. But I agree with the Black Market Merchant take that discounting cards is rough because like if they steal Ladros and they could play it out on turn 8.
That's what people were
terrible.
expecting for the actual change. They were expecting the emergency to be Black Market Merchant. Even though he was like nerfed out, okay, they're like, we fixed him. He's down to 2-1. Okay, well, he still gets to pull the card. It would be different if his ability was a skill. If like nabbing was a skill and you could kill him before he nabbed from your deck. Like it would be different. Like if you could interact with it. It's the fact that it's uninteractive. That's what people get frustrated with a couple of things in this game, that they find some of the stuff uninteractive. Pilfered goods getting moved to 2 to 3. I actually agree with Sudrakon on that. I actually think it helped make Heimer a little bit stronger too, because Heimer, not to play with this card as Heimer, but Sejuani and stuff. When you used to play against Heimer, it was nice to steal his cards, and now it costing 3 mana will make it even harder to steal the Spirit's Refuge or stuff that away from them. That's really going to help them keep in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, and to circle back to Black Market, I mean, the problem I think that you could fix with Black Market Merchant is if you're going to have him discount cards, it should be a card that has like an effect while alive. So if you steal, the cards in your hand are discounted as long as Black Market Merchants is on the board. But if he's dead, they should just go back up to normal cost. You shouldn't just be playing him kind of like a meat shield. Like, okay, I got the benefit from him, and now I don't have any more, Pilfered goods in my deck. So he's useless. It should be one of those things that you still want to keep him alive if you want to get that value of the discount. That's the way I would change him, honestly. I think the 1 health was a big help, but I just don't like that it's a one and done, permanent discount on the cards he takes.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think that you could do that. You could make him just not discount. Maybe he discounts only your card. Maybe it's a play effect that you can interact with. Like anything really. I think he's by far the biggest problem with that mechanic.
I'd agree. I think that's fine. I mean, it makes sense to me. Other card change is Solitary Monk. It is now no longer a 4/3. It is now a 3/3. But still does everything else the same. Sudra, what do you think about that?
I think it's a good direction. Like it was a powerful card. I guess it got the same treatment as the Conspirator. I think it's its name. It's his name.
Yeah.
I think it's just too powerful. You just played her on an empty board and suddenly you had 4 damage every turn. I don't think she's unplayable. I think she's still powerful and she will still be played on any decks that used to play her, I think. Yeah. But I think that's a good change, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that. I still think that she should be more in the same boat as something like Navori Conspirator, where to play it you have to recall. I don't think necessarily she should be able to be played on an empty board. I think it should be, to play me, recall all of your allies. And then I would feel a little bit better about her. But yeah, I mean, it's a step in the right direction for sure. And like you said, I don't think it's a dead card, but it feels a little better.
I feel like I want to add on that. I feel like the card itself, I agree with that. It being 4/3, it was one of the most powerful elusives. Yes, it took back your whole hand from you, but in some cases that didn't matter. It's a 4/3 elusive for 3 mana. There's every other elusive that costs more than, I think, up to 4 mana. I think every single one is only 2 damage. Except for Greenglade, but you have to play a couple of cards to be able to buff her. So I feel, and she only has 1 health, so it's really easy to kill her as well. So I feel I definitely think it was a step in the right direction. Instead of being 4 damage, only 3, it kind of matches the card. 3 mana, 3/3. I don't know if they need to go that far, Smith, to have to be able to, because then it would never be used. When are you going to use it in Heimer? You're going to literally throw it in there, and throw it down, it's going to have to summon all of your units back.
There was that elusive deck that was strong in meta, towards the end of last season, where basically you wanted to keep recalling your elusives. And
it's
your
still
Noxus
like that
cards.
now. It's the Noxus. Yeah, it's still the Noxus. But they call it Noxus elusives, but let's be real. It's the Demolitionist duo. Like, it's the Disciple and the Demolitionist. That's what you're doing. You just keep retreating it. And it's still all right now, but it's that, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, that's what you're using the Solitary Monk for, but
yeah, I mean,
I don't know. It is a step in the right direction. I do agree with that.
That makes sense. I mean, I can't argue with anything you said. It's
Reddit has been crying about this card since it basically came into the game.
Rightfully
since from the beginning, everyone complained, "Oh, this card's too good," especially when they did the elusive nerfs. The funny thing is, elusives, the original elusive decks, were never using Solitary Monk because you didn't want to pull back any of your elusives until Nox elusives came around. This card was not being used in any sort of elusive deck, so it's like we said, it's a good step. And then, is there anything else we need to talk about? Because we're not going through all of these.
Yeah, no.
About Solitary Monk.
Yeah, no. And then the rest of it is basically just there's clarity. Again, more expedition archetypes. Big thing, the vault unlock terms. So, and I don't know if anybody else got as confused as shit as I did this morning, because I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, so the vault opened on Tuesday, and they said it's going to be a long one next time, so I'm like, I'm going to get an extra 2 days. And then when it told me today, hey, your vault's ready, I'm like, what the hell do you mean my vault's ready?
Yeah, they changed it up. They changed it up, and they made a clarification tweet about it today.
Yeah.
That it was, they originally did, so they didn't lie, but they gave us the wrong info. Originally, they said it was going to be a really long test
9 days.
You were going to have. 9 days, exactly. And then they just decided to do a short 2 days, and then bam. It was going to be chest opening. It's like, if you got your chest past level 5, I'll be surprised. Maybe, if you're a casual person, maybe up to 3 to 5. But yeah, if you played hard and laddered and just didn't stop playing, I mean, you might have got it to maybe 8 or 9, but that's a lot. That's a lot of grinding.
I'm not gonna lie. I was at 9.
Wait, what? Oh my god!
I was at
grinding.
I was at 9, and I was like, God damn it! I was so close.
Did you have 3? Did you have 3 quests? You had
to.
I
didn't play it all last week, and I was busy. So I had all kinds of quests.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Pissed.
Now I understand, because I was like, there's no way you played that many games without 3 quests. You would have literally had to been playing 48 hours straight from Tuesday morning when you opened your chest to Thursday morning when it was time to open your chest to probably hit 10 easily, or just went on a crazy 50-game win streak or something.
Yeah, no, I had quest banks, and so I was upset because I was like, I could have gotten an extra wild card, but yeah, so there's that change. They moved around the UI a little bit. Quests now appear on the side panel, and after match are progress bars, not the circle anymore. The background of matchmaking changed, and then some cooldowns for VOs so they don't get spammed.
I sorry to interrupt, but Kage just made me remember where this toxic card came from. From the deck that Swim made, I think it was 5 days before the ladder ended, from beta to the actual start of the game, before Bilgewater got released. Elusive standalone, when it was still broken. Oh my god.
What a terrible deck.
Oh,
what a terrible deck.
Dude, that game, when that deck was there, I was gone. I think it was already Masters at that point. I think me, Windmage, chilled with Smith just to get him to Masters. You would be amazed how many times we played against it with Karina Control, and we were just able to get lucky sometimes and beat it. But almost every time we'd play it with Karina Control, it was almost a guaranteed loss, because you can't beat it before by the time Karina Control ramps up, the deck's already beaten you.
Turn 4, you were almost done.
Yeah. Oh my
know?
god, Kage, why did you have to remind me of that stupid deck? Because it got kind of strong once Unyielding Spirit came out, but it kind of died out in the meta once Deep and all these other decks started getting formed. And I don't know if it's because the deck was bad or if it's just because the change to, I think it's, was the
They changed
change.
standalone.
Yeah, they changed standalone. That was the biggest thing that killed it. Because, because 8 mana.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you
4
before you
mana,
just
and then
didn't play anything on turns 1 and 2. Then you
yeah.
drop 3, either Zed or on her, and then you just won.
And 2 turns in a row, you could, on turn 3, you could buff the person. Then on turn 4, you could do it again. Now the only way to do it is to play them on turn 3, then buff them on turn 4, and then you couldn't buff them again until turn 5. So, yeah, okay, now I understand why the deck's dead. I just, thank you for reminding me of that one. Thank you, Kage. Appreciate it.
Actually, like the deck was like kind of bad before the standalone change, but I think it's just the meta changed a lot. A lot. Like I remember Ezreal Karma being like really, really good just before the expansion, and then for a long time after the expansion, the deck was like not powerful.
Yeah.
I think it's just like the meta, and then like they kind of changed standalone on a weird timing, but like maybe someday, like maybe now the deck would have been like really like just breaking the meta. So I'm kind of glad they changed standalone. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the deck wasn't like god tier, like 70% win rate, but it was like 55%, and you just sped through so quick that everybody's playing it. It's like, look, if they don't win by turn 4 or 5, they don't win, but they didn't care because it was just fast, 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 fast. And then I'm done. I'm on to the next game, And so it was a rough time, I think, in war history.
I think that's one of my one thing that I get really kind of frustrated with the game is the whole. I've seen the developers talk about it a couple times that Ezreal Karma or Ezreal just in general. Every time people were complaining about those 2 cards, that they were like, well, it doesn't have above a 50% win rate, so we're just going to keep it on the watch list, and we don't think it's that big of a deal. And now the deck is not getting played unless it's in a tournament. Are they paying attention to that in tournaments? It is a big deal. Like, yeah, people aren't really karma-ezing on ladder as much. That from what I was seeing when I was watching streams and when I was playing, but I was seeing it in tournaments, especially the tournaments without the bans. It was either Karma Ezreal or Vimer. Those were the 2 Piltover Ionia decks that you were seeing. So is that are they gonna do something with it? Are they gonna change something with it? I don't know. Like it just now that they're not being played as much, we're not going to be able to have the numbers enough to see it. Like I think it was you, Sudra, that said what decks you played against when you made it to Masters. You went like 59 and 14. Was that you or was that someone else on the team? Was that 4LW? I know it was someone from Team IQ. I don't remember who posted it, but they only had 2 games where they played against Ezreal Karma, and they went they went 2-0 against it.
I mean, I know Black Boss got to Masters like this week. I think he played
it might have been Black. I think it was Black Boss because I think he said he took a weekend and literally just pushed for Masters, and that it was probably Black Boss. And yeah, I think I'm remembering the display pick. Yeah, I think it's Black Boss. I knew it was either him or no, it wouldn't have been 4LW. 4LW hit Masters like he was one of the first Master players in NA. I think it was like top 10 or top 20 or something like that. So yeah, but that was one thing is that there was like person went like I think he went 0-2 against it or 2-0 against it, and it's like, but that's not enough of a sample size to really tell. Was it good against it or was it bad against it? Because the deck's not really played that much right now. Everyone's playing other stuff. And it's like, I do like LOR for the fact that there's always new homebrews. Like, there's always people working on stuff. One of the decks we're going to talk about today, you'll never see it on a ladder. I don't even think you'll see other people other than Sudrakon play it in tournaments.
Oh, you will see. Like,
we will see it? Okay.
Actually, no, not on tournaments. Like, I actually played a mirror, the mirror matchup on ladder.
Now we're going to debut
Why don't we pull up the deck? Yeah, why don't we pull up the deck?
Now we're going to debut the deck.
Talking about.
So they know what kind of
Um,
craziness we're talking about. So this is
It's a fun one.
Sudrakon's Braum Vi. He called it Poros, but I don't know. You got to come up with a better name for it. I don't know if you have a better name for it because it's not just Poros.
actually, when I played it on tournament, like the name was P Omega Low R Omega Low S. That was the name.
Okay, I
But
like that.
I mean, to be honest, like this is a Poro deck.
Yeah,
Like
obviously.
the stars of the deck are the Poros. This deck, like, it actually originates from Apple. I do not know Apple. I just know that they were like one of the first, if not the first, like person to hit legend on this season on NA. They played Brom with Heimerdinger and then off the Poros.
Hmm.
But
Interesting.
and then like I try I've played with him a lot when I was trying to hit masters like a couple weeks ago, and then I've tried like to recreate the list, but then I realized that I was winning more games with the Poros and Poros next than I was with Heimerdinger, so I just swapped him out, which is weird, like to just cut Heimer from a deck, but like
Yeah.
this kind of yeah, and like I've been playing like a lot of with this deck. I've been like people like I've been telling people about this deck. So like a couple of Brazilian people have been also playing with this deck, streamers and just players. It's pretty fun. Like it's so fun actually. Like you play like 1 mana 7/7s. Like some like it's not even that rare to happen. Like just 1 mana 7/7 powers. It's so fun.
I was gonna say, like, I'd be interested to see kind of what the stats are because it does look like a fun deck. You know, it looks like a heck of a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, and then like it's not even like it's not a bad deck by any means. It's just that I think like people could like have cut the submersibles and have started playing like more 3-offs because I have a lot of 1-offs in this deck just to try to flip the submersibles. But I think like the deck has potential actually, like real potential. Um but like I have to play with it more. I have to like I have been trying to refine it. Like I think if more people like just played like something along those lines, and people like made more changes to the deck, I actually think this has potential. I will try to like play with it more and test matchups and like bring it to more tournaments. But I actually like this deck a lot. Like I think it's a real deck.
Yeah, I
Like I
mean,
think it's
I definitely want to give it a try out. Just because again, I'm getting kind of bored with playing Noxus. To be honest, I mean, I like it, but it's been kind of that and the Twisted Fate Ezreal deck. Have been kind of what I've been playing. So anything to kind of shake it up on ladder, I'm okay with because, like I said, I'm one of those players that I like to make a push for Masters towards the end of the season when all the great players are already there, and I'm working with the people that were coming from below me. You know, it's one of those types of deals, and so something just to kind of shake it up would be kind of nice. You know, so this may be one that I start seeing a little bit of play with this week. You know, but anyway, so let's talk a little bit about it too. So when you're playing this, what's the general strategy? You know, is this an aggro, a mid range, control? What are you looking for in your opening hand? When do you play Braum? You know, all that kind of good stuff.
it's like a mid-range deck. It's like you just carve out like it's kind of hard to like bank mana for Poros next, but like Poros next is by far like your most important card. Um if you like it and like of course like the 1 mana Poros, the elusive Poro and the lonely Poro, like
Mm-hmm.
if you can carve just 1 mana Poro, 2 mana like you play herder usually because you don't want to lose your third one Poro to some random um removal, like you want to actually draw a card with Poro herder. So and then like from there you just like it from turn like 3 to 5 you need to like bank spell mana for Boros next to play it, like of course if you have it in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then you usually just play next as a combat trick, like when oh, I attack with my Mighty Poro, they block with like something that has 3 attack. Suddenly I play Snacks and my Poro survives, or like they try to Vile Fist or even Whale. It's amazing when they try to Whale all the 1 health Poros and you just Snacks. You
Yeah.
just yeah. And then like it's actually interesting because on a lot of ways, like the elusive Poros, like there's only 3 of them in the deck, but you can like find more with Aurora Borealis and the Lonely Poro. They kind of function like the Heimer turrets, the elusive ones. Like except they of course like they require Poros next to be like actually do damage, but they also have like a lot more health if you played Poros next.
Mm-hmm.
So you just like jam them with lows. Like there's a lot of ways to win. You can just jam like their nexus like attack with elusive like 2 or 3 times. You can like overwhelm them with the overwhelm poros. Against certain decks, it's actually very funny because you can play Aurora Borealis and like get Heart of the Fluffed. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's happens a lot of the times.
Yep.
If they're not playing like Will of Ionia or anything like that, you just make like a 20-20 overwhelm elusive Poro and win that way too. It's so fun.
And speaking of elusives, let's talk about Submersible in here. You know, so
Oh,
you have a Poro deck, but I think this is one of the first ones I've seen with Submersible in it recently.
So Submersible, it's it's one of the cards that I'm not sure that makes the final cut because they were really good with Heimer. Heimer helps the Submersibles to get to 5 attack like a lot because they generate the turns and whatnot. But like it's they're really good. Like 5 mana 5/5 elusive draw card is nuts. It's literally like broken. The thing like I like the deck has a lot of one-offs to try to make them 5/5s, of course. The drawback, of course, is that like you have to play 10 different cards, which is not easy. Aurora Borealis like help a lot with that. Like Lonely Poro helps a lot of that. So different cards, right? Like different names.
Mm-hmm.
And then they again like the elusive Poros are good. So are the submersibles, right? Like 5 men, 5/5s, like attacking every 2 turns, like every attack you have. It's
Mm-hmm.
nuts. It's actually just nuts. And then if you need to like an elusive blocker for like as real, you can play them as a 1/5. Like you can play submersibles as a 1/5, like just to block as real, or like maybe Monk, maybe the elusive turns if you're
Yeah.
against Weimer, that kind of stuff. But like usually you just play them as a 5/5, like as 5/5s on turn 8, 7, 8, and just smack the face. Just hit Nexus.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a heck of a lot of fun to play. I mean, it and it's awesome, kind of that I think you are maybe the first or one of the first guests to bring a Poro deck on the Poro show. So
He's the second, to be honest.
I would say that was super exciting, and 22 episodes we've had 2, so I like that.
Yeah, one thing about the deck, because I know you mostly ran this as a tournament deck and not so much as a ladder deck, at least right now. Um, in tournaments, what have you been looking for as your main mulligan for the most part? Just getting like the small poros, poro herder, stuff like that, poro snacks.
Yeah, basically like the 1 mana Poros, Herder, and Snacks. Like I keep Snacks even if I don't have any other cards that I want to keep. Like I will not like keep 2 Snacks on the mulligan, but like I will keep 1 Snacks even if I don't have any turn 1 or 2 play, just because it's I've have had like openings where I have like turn 1 Poro, turn 2 Herder, turn 3 maybe Mighty Poro, maybe like Lonely Poro, the other Poro, and like basically 3 Poros on turn 3. But then you cannot close out the game because you can do enough damage and like they clear all the Poros with like cheap removal. So like Snacks is really important, and like outside of that you just try to carve out. I actually have been not one thing that I usually like I used to do that I don't do anymore is keeping Vi. Like I don't think it's worth to keep Vi on this deck. I'm not sure even if Vi is proper on this deck, to be honest. But like Some other Vi decks, you can keep her if depending on the matchup, of course, like to just grow her early.
Mhm.
But the thing is, like, you actually need to curve, like, otherwise you don't do anything until like very late. But like this is kind of mid-rangey, more aggressive deck, so
Yeah.
yeah, basically
What
like
would be the
just the
replacement for Vi though if you take her out? Like, are you looking at an Ash maybe or something like that? Or Ash
I
might
was
not bring any synergy to this deck, to be honest. Now that I think about it, like, I mean, the
no.
freeze is nice, but you run one of Brittle Steel, so probably not worth it. and, and that's really only for submersible, to be honest.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I want to try back the Heimer version, to be honest. But also I have been meaning to like experiment with Sejuani just as like not trying to flip her anything, just like in on this like Freljord decks where you just slap Sejuani because she's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
6-7, or no,
yeah, like
5-6.
5-6-7-1
Overwhelm.
man.
That's kind of nuts. Freezes the unit, can pull it. Can basically kill
yeah.
almost everything on the board at 6.
Hmm.
Almost everything, unless it's like a buffed unit or something. But like that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, and then like also the overall damage is pretty relevant. Like even if it's like 2 damage, 3 damage, it's pretty good.
Hmm.
Sometimes can win you the game. That's all you
Truth.
need. I guess the only thing that I want to know is, with your playtesting and what you've been doing with this deck, is what is it especially weak against?
Like I have played, like I have lost games against Ezreal Karma that I had no business losing. I don't think like it's a like that bad of matchup, but like I think it's one of the bad matchups just because you need like, I mean, Will is not very effective. I mean, it actually is because it resets the stats of your Poro, so they kind of just kill the Poro with Will. The thing is, like, they have to commit a 4 mana card for a 1 mana card, but like, even still, like, they just kill your
That could be
Poros.
your win con, essentially, that they're
Yeah,
removing off the board. So, how does it match up against Weimer? Is it good because you have the elusive 1/1 that can block,
yeah,
or
I think it's actually okay against Weimar. Um, it's it's a 1/1, but like, actually, like you basically can block the elusives and then you just over like you have elusives. You can even play like submersible as a 1/5 to trade with the elusive turrets and survive, right? And then you just like usually just win by overwhelming them with the overwhelm poros, right?
Hmm.
Because I mean, you can try to like deal elusive damage. That's not going to work probably because they have elusive units. But like, if you have like 5/5s, 4/4, 6/6s, depending on how many Pearls next you have played, like just hitting like 1 health turrets, they cannot keep with that. Like, so you just win off of the mighty Pearls most of the time. I think it's like okay. It's not a bad matchup. I don't think
Yeah.
against
okay?
Heimer.
So, I guess that's it. Like, I mean, I could ask what it's good against, but I mean, for the most part, I know you're still kind of testing the deck and you're having a couple of people test it out. So maybe I'll ask you in private in a week from now and see where it's at. Cause
I,
go ahead, Smithlow.
I was gonna say, I mean, if anybody grabs this deck or anything like that and edits it or makes changes and says, hey, look, I think that this may be a way to run it, let
Please
us know because
message
I'd be
message
interested to see
us,
kind of what people
Sudrakon.
think about it.
Yeah. Message either us, Sudrakon. We'll pass it on. He can play test with it too. If you think you find the sauce, as they would say, if you find the sauce, then let us know. But yeah, if it definitely seems like an interesting deck.
Agreed.
I've never been on the Poro train. I'm gonna be honest. I probably won't play it, but it looks cool. I'll definitely watch you play it in a tournament and see how you do with it. But yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I'll be playing it. it's cool though. So is there anything else to add on the deck, or do you think we got everything?
I just wanted to say one more
Yeah,
thing.
go
Like
ahead.
when I saw the Aurora Borealis like buff, I thought it was like irrelevant. The card was so bad. I usually like play with another like other Poro decks just for fun. And then I saw like, oh, 1 mana, like okay, the card is still bad. Actually, like this card is better than it looks because you usually like get 1 mana Poros. So like if you have played like two, maybe one or two Poros next throughout the game, on turn 6, 7, something like that, you just play Aurora Borealis and like get double 1 mana Poro, like double 3/3. You kind of recover from the tempo loss that you just had of
Mm-hmm.
like playing a 6 mana card that did nothing basically. And then because of that, like it generates a lot of value, but like you have the tempo loss. But if you have played like one or two snacks, then it's okay. So it's definitely a card that like I have played like with 2 copies. I think 3 copies is better. It's
Mhm.
definitely a card that I underestimated at first when I saw the buff. So I guess that's the last thing I had like I wanted to say.
Awesome.
People
Well,
are
like I
hating
said,
on your Battle Fury. Understand that Progress Day and Battle Fury are kind of in here just for the meme. I mean, I
Oh yeah.
guess if you get it on the Mighty Poro and you get a Battle Fury on it, though, that could kind of win you the game. It could, maybe, if they can't
Also,
block it.
I lost a tournament match because my opponent stole my 1 copy of Battle Fury and
Oh
played it
no!
for 6 mana. For 6 mana.
oof.
No, like
Oh, gotta love
there's
it.
that shit.
That's the nab mechanic right there.
Oh
That's
yeah.
sometimes it's super fun and interactive. Well, anyways, we'll go off the talk on that. Let's go into tournaments. So for tournaments, first one that I want to talk about is Giant Slayer's tournament that happened on Friday. One
Mhm.
of our players from Team IQ, Black Boss, had a really, really good run in it. Um, I was actually surprised that how I think I watched this game. Like he stomped Winding God in the first game, but then he got stomped back later in the lower losers
Yeah.
bracket. It was cool. Like I think if I remember correctly, do you remember what Black Boss brought? I think it was a Weimer and something else, or was it Karma Ez? I can't
It was
remember.
Weimer.
What was
What was it?
Weimer? Was it Swain and
I mean,
Dom?
I don't like remember. I want to say it was the Black Boss deck, which is like Hecarim with
Oh, it
Lad.
was. It was. Someone said that. Yeah, of course it was. Why did I even think it was anything else? It's Black Boss. Yes, he. I remember because he had a game where literally Hecarim went off. Like I think he
Yep.
had that deck runs Harrowing, right? If I
Yeah. Yeah.
remember correctly, yeah, he got a Harrowing off and literally it's just unbeatable. It was just it wasn't happening. There was like 2 or 3 Hecrims on board or something like that. Yeah, it was a really good tournament. Like this is a tournament that Sudrakon was talking about. Like when you have 8 players, they're all top players, they're all top competitors. Having no
Yeah.
bans in these tournaments are interesting. Do I think it's the most competitive? Not exactly, but my opinion doesn't matter. Who cares? I don't play in these as long as the top players are having fun with it. That's all that really matters. But yeah, it was a really good event. I was surprised to see Presto got knocked out. Uh, Maverick, I think, unfortunately, Maverick woke up late for the tournament. I think he like missed out on round one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that, or either lost like game one or something because he was late. So
Hmm.
he was kind of probably half asleep for the tournament. I when we did what's the word I'm looking for? When we did come on, Smith will help me out. When we sat there and said who's gonna win, come on, man.
You talk about predictions, like
Predictions! Jesus, I couldn't think of the word.
I was like,
Uh
are we thinking something different here?
no, predictions. It was a super simple word that my brain just couldn't wrap itself around. Um when we did predictions, I think I said Maverick was going to have a good run. I think I said Maverick was going to get second. Black Boss did really, really well. Super happy with that. He made it top 4. Guardia, he's a German player, really, really good player. I think he brought Weimer, and I don't remember the other deck. Black Boss's Hecarim Vlad deck just had some unfavorable matchups. I feel like if there are bans in this tournament, maybe he has a little easier time. But also, we would have never saw Weimer all weekend. Or all Friday. We would have never saw Weimer. We would have never saw Karma Ezreal. Because that's, for the most part, most people are banning that unless their deck specifically target to do well against it. And, like, let's really do the math. How many decks are that good against Weimer? There's not that many.
Very few.
It's a very niche deck list on what's strong against it. So I'm loving these tournaments. These tournaments are great. What we're going to talk about next is actually the players for next week.
Yep.
So this is the list for next week. Winding God's coming back because top 2 players come back in every tournament. Guarda, Topher's in this one. 4 LW's in this one. Bones, LOR, but I think we found out it was Rattling Bones. That's what his name was. BBG, Shishu, and X Yatsuba. I think it's going to be a super interesting event. I think it's going to be another one to go in the books. I
mean, they've all been pretty good, so I mean, it'll be...
Yeah, they've been exciting.
If they keep up this quality, that's good.
Yeah, and like that's the thing is every week we have a player in, so I do the social media, so I'm actually watching a lot of these games of our players in it because I have to keep up with it to find out who won, who lost, clip stuff. So because of that, like I get to watch some really exciting games, and I'm constantly watching even the other matches too because I got 2 screens, so I might as well watch some games. And these have always been really, really, really fun to watch. So I'm just going to cut into it now. I always do predictions. Let's do predictions now that I know what the word is and I memorized it. Who do you guys think is going to make it into top 2? Let's start with you, Smith. Who do you think is going to make it into top 2?
I'm going to say Topher and 4LW lore. I think 4LW is a great player. I think Topher's due right now. I like a lot of the decks that he puts out, so I'd like to see maybe I'm come home with a win.
Interesting. You didn't watch Jamfest then because he did come out with a win, and he beat 4LW in the finals too. Yeah. So it's cool, and they use the exact same format of 2 decks. No bans.
Maybe there'll be a repeat.
It's just funny that you said that because literally we're going to talk about that right after. We're going to go into Jamfest. But
that's one I didn't get a chance to watch.
Yeah. I'll do my prediction next. I'm going to... Winding God's got to be kicked out finally. Like, Jesus. This man says he plays for fun. Like, I've literally had people say this to me. He says, oh, well, I'm not trying to play this game competitively. I'm just having fun. Like, dude's been in every week. Every week.
Like, that's one of the things that I like the most about him. Like, he's awesome. I just love, like, I'm just playing for, like... I'm not trying to play competitively. I'm just playing for fun, and he proceeds to like win everything, like crushes everyone. Like I don't know.
Where did he come from? Like what other games was he playing before this? Is he in Magic? Was he in Hearth? Please don't tell me this is this dude's like first card game, because like if he is, he's crushing it. And don't worry about it. This is what we told you about. He'll be back. You're also swap spots with him on the cam. It's all good. He'll be back. He'll turn his camera on. You guys will be back to the right spot. So there we go. There it is.
You don't want to stay Smithel forever.
But I want to say Winding's not going to be in it. I think he's going to get kicked out for the first time this week. He's going to have his fun run get kicked out. I think it's going to be 4LW's just been really hot in tournaments right now. I think it's going to be him versus, I'm going to go with Shishu because he's had some good tournaments, mostly in the EU side, so he doesn't play in the NA scene as much. But I know him from when he used to play in HOTS, and I have a feeling he's going to do that. My other wild card would be Yotsuba because he loves to watch Brazilian meta, and he watches the podcast, gets decks from that. He won an actual tournament, RFC, Runeterra for Change, with the Hecarim Vlad deck. I think he was using the Hecarim Vlad deck, so I'm interested for this. This is and Smith. I didn't pull it up, but we're gonna have to talk about Twitch rivals, obviously, with the Grand Slam. We'll talk about that at the end as the last thing before we go on out. So Sudrakon, let's go into you. What do you think your predictions are? Who do you think is gonna take it?
I have to like.
You don't have to.
No. I have to for LW. Like, I think he's really good. I think so too. Doing really well. Like, he did well in the past two. He didn't win anything, but like now
out of nowhere,
think,
he's killing it. What is it? The meta?
Yeah.
He just understands the meta right now that well. He loves playing the decks that are in it. Like, I don't know what's happened.
Actually, like he plays a lot of like different and weird decks too.
Okay.
Cosplaying like Lucian Kalista deck too, but anyways, like I think one of the spots, I think he gets. He
deserves
the
it, yeah, for sure.
And then, I mean, to be honest, I'm between like Winding God. Like I can't like just say Winding God doesn't make it. Like he's done it 2 times in a row. He's a god. Like he won. What, 3?
He's just not even going to try. Well, I think there's only been 2 Giant Slayers so far. Because you were in first week. Last week was, the group that we just talked about. And then this week is going to be the 3rd one.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, I want to go against him just because I almost don't want to see him win again. Because I want new people. No, it's nothing against him. It's just there's only 8 people that are invited. So if they keep re-inviting the same person every week, we're always going to see the same faces. Exactly. So hope someone does this week. Nothing against you, Winding God. Love you. You're a great player if you ever see this video.
I guess, like, if not Winding God, like, I think, like, Yotsuba will make it. Like,
yeah, he's been doing really well in tournaments.
Yeah, he's been doing really well. Like, he plays a lot of tournaments. Like, I face him on tournaments, like, often, like, the other members of the team as well. Like, we face him a lot on tournaments. RFC was like kind of fun, kind of funny story, but like the week like prior to RFC, I was doing another podcast like in Portuguese, and then he just comes in. Oh, can I have like Black Bosses list? And like, well, sure, thanks, like for being here, like for watching this podcast that you don't.
And then
even,
he beats
like,
you all with it.
Yeah, and then like he takes Black Bosses list, and within a week he just wins the tournament, right? Like. I think like he's insane actually. Like he's
really good. He is really good. Yeah. He's a top NA player. Let's put it that way. The funny thing is, for the longest time, I don't think I'm the only one. I thought he was a Brazilian player because I've even heard from the Brazilian players on our team. They're like, "Yeah, we thought at one point that he was a part of the community, and then we realized real quick, no, he wasn't. He doesn't speak Portuguese. He's not part of the Brazilian community." Yeah. He's a little bugger. He stole the Vlad. Well, didn't steal it. I mean, it's public knowledge. All the deck lists are public. It's not like they're hidden to anyone. All these tournaments, a lot of the guys, you'll actually see them after Jam Fest happens. They'll say, "Hey, can I see the deck list?" Guys will literally compile all the lists and see what they were playing against and what the common decks are that people are bringing, so that they can prepare for the next tournament. That's basically what they're doing. But this. So that sums up this one. We'll go into Jam Fest now. Now, Jam Fest was the same idea. We decided to try something different. Jam Fest is now being hosted. Well, it's collaborated with Team IQ. And basically Jam and the squad decided to try something different. They went with the 2 decks, no bans as well. So that was basically all weekend. Every tournament that was going on the weekend was 2 2 decks, no bans, except for, I think, Maverick's EU tournament. So Maverick also had an EU tournament. I think his was just standard, like 3 decks, 1 ban. Not sure on that one. But this was where Topher got his first win. We were Casanova was casting it, and he was talking about it. He's like, Topher's gotten close. He's gotten top 4, top. I think he even had a semi or a finals before. Wasn't able to pull it off. He got his tournament win. He did it. It's and he did it running Casanova's favorite deck, War Mothers. It's not actually his favorite deck, but that was the meme. He literally called it like Casanova's War Mothers or whatever, I think was the name of his deck.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He fake Brazilian like Mogwai. Come on, Obi, you can't be writing that stuff. That's just mean. So yeah, he won with a War Mothers deck, and I think it was Weimer. I think it was like Weimer and a War Mothers deck. And 4LW brought, I know it was Weimer, and I can't remember the other one. I feel like it was a different deck, and I know it wasn't Bald Eagle. I know it wasn't that. You guys don't really, like, the Brazilian guys don't really play Bald Eagle. I haven't really seen you guys bring too many, though.
Actually, Black Boss, like, tested a lot of that deck, but, like, he came to the conclusion that he does not like it. So, yeah, we don't really play much. Eagle.
I should probably have the list, but instead my next list is going to be your. I forgot that you won a tournament literally like yesterday, or no, It was Tuesday. Was it Tuesday or was it yesterday? When was movie night? I think it was Tuesday. So yeah, it was Tuesday that you guys did the mono deck, and I brought up your tweet that shows all the decks because I just want to look over them quickly. You don't have to explain them. We're not going to go into it, but it's a different format, and we're going to talk about BR Legends too. Yeah, 4LW used Braum, Swain, and Karma Ezreal. That's where I saw the Braum Swain being ran by Brazil, because I knew I did see someone running Braum Swain this weekend that I was following to the finals. 4LW had an amazing event, and then I got to give the honorable mention. Kelvin did great too, but I gotta give the shout out to the homie. Croc organizes basically every single tournament, every single one. We're talking about DOR, we're talking about Jam Fest, we're talking about Mavericks. If there's a tournament going on in LOR, for the most part, Croc's hands is usually somewhere on it. Croc was finishing on day 1 of Swiss. He was finishing running the Europe tournament, the EU tournament, and he was playing his matches. This man top 4'd, and he hasn't played in a tournament for like 2 months. It's insane. Croc is nuts. I talked to him the other day. I was like, dude, you got to come back and play again. Like, you haven't played in like 2 months. All you've been doing is organizing tournaments, and you had this good of a showing. Like He used to win tournaments all the time. I used to talk about him on the podcast. He used to win. I think he won 1 or 2 DORs. I think he won a DOR back to back, if I remember correctly, or at least had a top 2 finish, and then won the next week after. Croc is a phenomenal player. Fun tournament. I think we've come to the conclusion that we're probably going to go back into the band format, because in big tournaments, we feel like the bans are kind of needed for it to be super competitive. The 3 decks, 1 ban. Just some people really don't want to play against Ionia, and I don't blame them. So let's go into Sudrakon's decks. Let's look at these masterpieces. Let me pull them all up. Okay, I don't know what this one is because it's in... Oh, you called it Harrowing. Okay, so what a surprise. When they said mono, I did not think I was going to see a Bannerman deck. I thought it was going to just be a Scout deck with no Bannerman. Of course there's going to be a Bannerman deck there. Everyone was running Mono Demacia. This was your main deck that you were bringing. Was there bans in this tournament? Because if there was, his deck was getting banned out every game.
No, actually, like, there was 2 bans because it was like 4 decks, 2 bans, and...
Did you get to play it ever?
Actually got, yeah, a lot,
really?
Actually.
Whoa.
I think the best deck actually was Shadow Isles.
Okay, I think that's the
from
next
like in
one. We're
general.
gonna go into that. Shadow. Oh no,
Like
no. We're going
no,
into your. This is your elusive deck. Okay, this looks
oh
like
god, this one
this one
is
had to
not
be
like
banned, right? This one had
yeah
to be
yeah
banned. Every single one.
yeah.
You never touch this one. It's too unreasonable to say I want to play against this. This seems like a smart idea. Let's get this done. This does not seem like a good idea. This is not a smart idea to play against this deck. Just
No,
don't
I
do it.
bend them like I bend the Ionichu. Like my
Oh,
deck is
it's
not like even like that good. I think it has some cards that are weird, but like
oh,
it
someone said
doesn't
no one
matter.
banned Demacia. I'm guessing this
Oh yeah,
guy. Okay,
yeah, he played on the tournament as well. Like the
okay.
Master was like okay, it was not that good. Like Ionia was the, I think
Oh
like
yeah,
Ionia Shadow Isles were the two best regions. Um,
shocker.
Well, and this is what I'm not surprised about. So, a Shadow Isle deck. Shadow Isle, if there is literally only mono decks, I really think Shadow Isles is one of the strong ones out there. It is always going to be a top deck. I really do. And like your list, you have it this way. You could go into the old, you could be throwing Rasha in here. You could be throwing in Ledros. Like,
to be honest, like one of the most like the best things that I like the diversity like within specifically the Shadow Isles region was like off the charts. Like I faced on this tournament like so many different Shadow Isles deck. Like I faced the Undying, I faced like Corina without Corina, just Ledros. I have faced like what was the name like the boat, the big like sea monster something terror like that fearsome that the defense
oh,
is.
I
It's
know
the
which one you're
ship.
talking about. Shipwreck Hoarder.
Uh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Shipwreck Hoarder? I think that's
No,
what.
no, no. The Hoarder is the other sea monster.
Is it the 8 mana
Terror of
ship
the Tides.
that
Yeah, yeah. Goblin Silver got it. It's like Terror of the Tides.
that's it.
Like I faced double Terror of the Tides decks. Like I don't know. I faced like so many different Shadow Isles decks. Like it was so cool because every single Shadow Isles deck was different,
I'm not
and
really
they were
surprised. Imagine this was pre nerf Black Spear too.
all
Ooh, looking imagine there was Mark of the Isle in this deck. Ooh, pre nerf. I mean, if they didn't do what they did, like Hecarim would have still been a top tier deck for a really long time.
yeah.
Slowly, I've been seeing a lot of people. This card, and this card.
Oh yeah.
Hecarim, Rekindler, Harrowing. If you can find a way to kill your Hecarim or your Rekindler and then play Harrowing without it getting denied, whew, your Hecarim levels up and everything's like 15 5 with friggin' Overwhelm. Like it's unbeatable. I think I saw one on Twitter today that was 6 or 5 Hecarims and 1 Rekindler. It's like, what are you going to do? The second they play the card, everything's ephemeral. It's going to level up. So they win the game. Like, you can't block the Hecarims because they're all going to buff each other. They're basically going to be at, like, 30 damage, 5 health. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely like I got to like minus 60 health like more than once on the same tournament, like just
oh,
because
really?
everyone. Oh yeah,
Did you have
Harry.
to?
Like,
Did you have to make a run? Like, was there only one bracket? Was it losers and winners, or was it? Was
was
it?
Swiss.
It was Swiss. Oh wow.
Yeah.
What was your run on Top Cut? Like, was it all in one night? It was 30 people, right?
Yeah, it was no, it was like 44, but like 30 something people actually like checked in. It was yeah all in one night, but the rounds were like really fast because I don't know why honestly, but like rounds were like 40 minutes. Every match was over, so we just like played it
So
very
people
quickly.
just put cards down and didn't really worry about it. Question: did you see any mono Piltover decks?
Yeah, one
And it was
on top
horrible,
match.
wasn't it? It
Oh,
was bad,
I
wasn't
lost.
it?
I
Wait, you
lost
lost?
to it.
What?
Yeah, and
Oh no,
yeah,
I bet you were mad because I bet you were just sitting there thinking like, how did I just lose to
well,
mono Piltover? There's like
oh,
no good units in that. Like there,
there's yeah,
there's
yeah.
a couple of good units, but like if you really think about it, how many strong units are in the, like, what did you lose to? Sumpworks map?
No, I actually almost like played Sumpworks map with Middenstock Henchmen, but I
Really?
decided not to Mimi to play.
Mhm.
I like
And let me guess,
Schweitzer,
you got memed
actually.
on by it. Is that what you? What did you lose to? What were they running for the Piltover?
It was just like Ezreal, and then like
Ah, wow,
I think it was like
lame.
12 to 15 units, and like triple Corina Ezreal. Well, basically, and
Oh,
like a
that's
lot of
BS. I was
people.
wrong. Apparently, that's what I was saying when I heard about this mono tournament, because I was talking to Harry about BR Legends, which we'll go into a little bit, because I know you have a little bit of information on it about too. Well, actually, I think it's going on right now, isn't it?
I mean,
Yep.
it was maybe it finished already. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not sure, but we'll definitely host them after this if it's still going on. I'll figure that out. I was saying the whole time that there was not going to be a good Piltover deck, but apparently they proved me wrong and you lost to it. But I didn't think about it. Like, just running Ezreal with a couple of good cards, having some spell removal, can't be that bad. Can't be the worst that
Yep.
you could be running. So let's go into the Poro deck. You basically
Oh, yeah.
run Poros with Sejuani. This is basically
This is basically the other deck, to be honest.
this is
Like,
basically the other deck with some freezes, some overwhelms. Um. Oh, and you can run this card too because you never have to worry about it not hitting Allegiance. Oh, that's
yeah,
dope. I just realized that. Yeah. This cool deck. I think it was I didn't get to watch much of the tournament. I didn't even know you were playing in it, if I'm being honest. I didn't know about it. And then someone, like, I saw the tweet that Sudrakon just won and I was like, "Wait, what?" I wish I would have known about it, because definitely, if you were playing these meme decks in the finals, I would have definitely posted some clips of some of these decks. You winning with a Poro deck, that would have been the highlight right there. So I should probably just do this. I think Casanova has it posted. Those are the teams he's playing on. No, Casanova let me down.
I
Oh,
honestly
Wait,
like
you trying to find the list
Twitch
of?
Twitch
rivals.
Rivals.
I just saw it earlier.
Is it on Twitch? Twitch Rivals do it? It's Blossom. Something Blossom. Oh, dude, this is horrible. Just find me the oh, I clicked the wrong. I
I'll
just
search
realized
for it.
they did the wrong thing. I just played the music for the people. I clicked the wrong thing. Oh no. You sent it to me? Okay, everyone's webcam's gonna go wonky for a sec. Sorry, guys. Oh.
Let me see. I'm looking for it.
It's not that Smithel, by the way. It's an hour and a half.
Well, as I said, we're getting close into it.
Yeah, but you're way off on the time there. 2.5. Not even close, bud. Not even close. Okay.
No,
Well,
so we're getting close to 2. We're getting close to 2, man.
oh, yeah, there we go. Thank you, Kage. I completely
Awesome.
forgot about this going on. So these are the teams. They're up on screen now. So
let me
Spirit Blossom. This is gonna be. They're playing League of Legends, TFT, and LOR. They all have a captain, and then they have 5 players. I'm assuming for certain games they all get exempt. Like, some of them will be exempt from certain matches and certain games. So these are the lists. Swim's actual team is nuts. I didn't realize this until talking to DPM, who he picked up. He picked up 2 members from the same LOL team.
Smart move.
Stunt and I think it's Osama are literally both players for 100 Thieves. Like, their LOL team. Like, pro players. I think there's a couple other teams with that. I do have to say Trick2G, Casanova got picked up. Like, their team is an actual LOL team, basically. Casanova is no slouch. He was an ex-Hots pro. He used to get Challenger and League of Legends. He's just nuts.
The comment, yeah.
He's nuts, and he also cast TFT, cast LOR. He knows enough about LOR that if he actually decided to play the game instead of casting it, I know he'd be a top player anyways. So I'm just so excited for this. Like, this starts on the 15th at 2 p.m. PT. So that's 5 Eastern. I am going to watch the crap out of this because it's going to go a couple of days. Like, there's going to be a couple of different iterations. Like, I think they're going League first, then something else, then, like, LOL, or LOR, I mean, and TFT. Scara's team is a little... he picked 2 offline TV members. Don't know how this is going to go, but... he, especially considering Lily Pichu, I've seen her in some of Disguised Toast TFT videos. Her learning how to play TFT, and she's pretty bad at it. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited for this. So definitely tune into this. I'm glad people like hyped. I'm glad some of the players got picked up. I know Crowan. Wait, Crowan's not... oh, yeah, he is. Crowan got picked up by Swim. Like, some players, like, guys that I used to know from HOTS made it on this list. I'm really happy. I think on the EU one, Shishu made it on one or something like that, too. I can't remember the EU one. I didn't really look at that, but super excited for this tournament. And then I guess the last tournament we need to talk about that's going to be starting to be a normal thing is BR Legends. It's ran by the Brazilian guys. It's going to be ran by Mr. Harry. Sudrakon would have been playing in it tonight, but he's on the podcast. We're super happy to have you here. Glad you missed out on it, but I also would have loved to see you completing it too, because it was a mono list, 4 decks, 2 bands, and it's...
Wait, what?
I think he was doing the exact same format. It was mono.
No, BR Legends is not mono.
That's what he told me. He said it was mono. Is he lying to me?
Maybe he got something.
Was it a
maybe he messed up something? Probably. But also, like, I realized I couldn't play on the tournament. Like, after I said I was not going to play because I mean we have 6 people and like only 4 can play.
Yeah.
I played like tournaments 2 days in a row, and then like, I cannot play anyways because of the podcast. But
no, like I don't. It's Team IQ versus TDU, both Brazilian teams right now. It's the Brazilian match-off. I know it's like a round robin. Basically, it's going to be Team IQ versus TDU, and then in the finals, it depends on who has the best scores, because it's Swiss format, basically. But I know that Team IQ doesn't play each other in the Swiss format, and neither does TDU. They're always cross-playing each other, from what I understood. I don't know.
Yeah. Basically, like every player from Team IQ plays every player from TDU, and then the 4 best players just face off.
Well, I hope it's still going on because I want to give Harry a host. So
I think it is. I think
we'll definitely raid the channel.
So I guess last thing that I need to talk about is the important thing, I guess, tonight. So the news is Cozer is going to be stepping down from the podcast. I've decided to focus more on working with Team IQ and working on promoting the podcast. So in the next couple of weeks, you might notice some extra faces on the show as we try out some new people on the podcast to get some synergy with Smithel. I'm going to be doing the promotional stuff. I'm going to be helping to make this podcast grow a little bit more, running the socials a lot more, because definitely it's something that we're a little weak on. We need to grow our Discord community. We want to make this a little bit more of a community. We're looking to offer coaching for our viewers, and definitely starting to work more to have the podcast have more of a community interactions, because right now it's like we're creating the content for you guys, but we want some extra content outside of the podcast, and we've talked about doing tournaments, and now we actually want to make some stuff happen. There will be announcements very soon about some new things. If we do find a replacement for me, we're going to be going down that route. I'm not going anywhere until Smithel's happy with the new co-host. So don't think that I'm just running off in like a week from now. I will keep doing the show. We're still going to be talking about tournament talks for the next little while.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean,
we will say for the people that are listening and watching and things like that, it's be patient with us. I mean, while we kind of figure out what the design of the podcast looks like. I mean, one of the things that Cozer and I talked about is obviously whoever we opt to bring in as the other co-host, we want them to make it feel like it's something that they help design as well. So the format may change, the things that we talk about may change, the day may change that we air. So just
it should be steadier though. I will at least say that more than likely, based on whatever guests, because I'm still going to be helping them find guests, it should be a lot more steadier on the date, because I was the reason why Smithel had to juggle a little bit because of my on-call schedule. So some days we couldn't do Thursday. I know we tried really hard to keep it on that, but sometimes it just couldn't work. Sometimes with a guest, it just can't work. But we're going to try to be a lot more consistent on the date so you guys aren't lost or confused on what day the podcast is and what time it is.
And we will also say, too, if there's somebody that you think would be a good co-host on the podcast, or somebody you maybe think would be great that you want to hear from more regular, whether it be a past guest of ours or not, by all means, reach out to us, let us know, and we'll take them into consideration and see if maybe we can make something happen. But again, Cozer, just personally me to you, I know this is something that you and I kind of helped talk about and develop for 5-6 months now almost.
Wow, it's been a while.
It's starting to
build.
so I know.
Well, 23 technically with episode 0. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I know I definitely appreciate the dedication, and I know a lot of people don't know this, but you do a lot of work behind the scenes to actually get everything posted, get up and running, ripping the audio, all that good shit. So, it'll be
now Smith gets to do it. Good luck.
Or the
other co-host.
The new co-host is going to be one of them. But yeah, so I mean, it'll be a change for sure. But so just everybody kind of bear with us as we kind of determine the future of the show, what it looks like, and all that good stuff.
I love all of you guys.
Hopefully, by the end of it, it'll be stronger. We'll have a good social media behind it. But
well, that's the big thing. Is I guess I like to just add on to it. Like, obviously, it's not hard to tell that I still love LOR, but I'm not playing it as much, and I think that you guys deserve to have a co-host that's playing the game on a continual basis, whether that be a caster, a tournament player, a streamer, something like that. You guys need someone that's consistently playing the game, not someone who says, well, I basically played Valorant this week, or I worked with Team IQ and did this stuff. I want you guys to have a consistent co-host that's always here for you guys. Not that I wasn't here for you guys, it's just I got to play the game that you guys love, and we're talking about it every week, so I don't want to give you guys wrong information because I'm outside of the meta, like looking in or stuff like that. So I'm excited for the podcast changes. I'm excited for the stuff that comes in the future. In no way am I going to completely... You'll still see me in chat. I'll still be helping with stuff like that as long as I'm at home. I'll be watching the show, communicating with everyone, having a good time.
Yep. So it'll be good. It'll be a good change, hopefully. But it'll be, like I said, whoever comes on board, big shoes to fill for sure. But I mean, I guess we'll end it with that. So I mean, let's talk about this again. Sudrakon, appreciate you kind of missing out on a tournament, coming here to be on the show. That was huge, and I know we I had a good time. Hopefully, you enjoyed it, and hopefully you're willing to come back in the future and update us with what you've been doing. But, the big thing, obviously, is anybody that's looking to follow you, keep up with maybe you and your tournament scene and decks that you're playing and all that, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
It's my Twitter. It's Twitter. What is it? Sudrakon Lore.
Sudrakon Lore.
Sudrakon Lore. I streamed a lot in the past. I have not been streaming much, but I started to to come back. So I will stream a lot in the future as well.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm using Twitter. So if you want to talk to me, I guess you could use Discord as well. I will always answer anyone for the decks and stream times and tournaments and that kind of stuff. My Twitter is definitely the best way.
And we'll definitely have links to all of his information too in the show notes, and make it so you guys can keep in touch with him and watch his stream whenever he's doing that. But Cozer, what about you, buddy? Where's your socials for one of the potentially last times?
Hey, it's not gonna be the last time today. Come on.
What I said, one of them.
Whoa! You guys see this? He's super excited for me to leave.
You down.
He's having a party. You see the balloons in the background? I swear, I see one popping out of the corner.
We're gonna change the name to the Smithville Report, and it's just gonna be me every week talking D&D.
You can find me on Twitter at Cozer88, Twitch is Cozer88, and YouTube is YT Cozer88. With me actually moving away from the podcast, I am going to try to stream a little bit more, but it's probably not going to be as much LOR content. It's going to probably be a little bit more Valorant and other games that I'm playing.
Yep. And then, as always, everybody, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Smithville Gaming. If you want to watch me stream, it's going to be twitch.tv/Smithville. I actually will be streaming this Saturday. I'm going to play my first game of Dungeons & Dragons as a Dungeon Master, so it could go horribly. So if you want to watch some old guy pretend to, be an elf and dwarf and all that fun shit, that's the way to do it.
I'll be there to make fun of you, 100%. I'll be in the front row.
It'll be a good time. So yeah, that'll be Saturday at 9 Eastern. Also, then again, if anybody's listening to the show and you want to watch us live, twitch.tv/weekly Poro Report. You can always see when we're going to go live and keep up to date with what's going on in the show. Or, if you want to follow any announcements regarding a new co-host or the show or what's going on there, at Poro Weekly is going to be the best way to do that on Twitter. That we'll always have the most up-to-date news there. But again, Sudrakon, appreciate you being on here today, buddy. Everybody in chat, I know we got quite a bit of followers today. We got a raid from Scar, so everybody that followed, everybody that follows the show, we appreciate it. It's a lot of fun interacting with you guys on a weekly basis. But other than that, no other news from me. So if you guys are good, I think we'll kick it and we'll see you all next week.